Love after 60, beyond age and appearances. At 63, Michael often found himself staring out the window of his quiet home, watching the world move on without him. His children had grown and moved far away, his wife had passed several years earlier, and though he had friends, the evenings felt unbearably long. People often said he had everything a man could want: retirement savings, a comfortable house, and plenty of time. Yet Michael felt an emptiness that money could never fill. What he longed for was something simple, something he hadn't felt in years: companionship, laughter, and love. But not just any love. He wanted the kind that made his heart race, the kind that kept him awake at night, not with worry but with hope. And though he didn't admit it to many, he often found himself drawn to younger women. It wasn't about appearances, though of course youth carried a brightness that was hard to ignore. What captivated him was their energy, their openness to life, and the way their laughter seemed to wake something long dormant in him. But here was the problem. Most of the younger women he met looked at him and saw only his age, his wallet, or the gray in his beard. He knew the whispers: he's just an old man looking to buy affection. That thought alone pierced him deeply. He didn't want to buy love, he wanted to give it. He wanted to be seen not for his bank account, but for the wisdom, tenderness, and sincerity that 63 years of life had carved into him. One spring afternoon, everything changed. Michael decided to attend a community art class, not because he was any good at painting, but because he craved new experiences. The class was filled with people of all ages. He felt nervous at first, but when he sat down, he noticed a young woman across the table, no older than 30. Her name was Claire. She had a quiet smile, a curious gaze, and when she painted, she leaned so close to the canvas that a strand of her hair always slipped loose from behind her ear. Michael told himself not to think too much of it. She was young, bright, and surely her life was full of possibilities. Still, as the weeks passed, they began to talk. It started with small things: the color choices, the difficulty of blending paint. But soon the conversations deepened. She asked him about his past, his travels, the books he loved. And when he shared his stories, she listened with a kind of attention he hadn't felt in years. One evening after class, they walked together to the parking lot. Claire laughed about how terrible her painting looked, and Michael admitted his wasn't much better. Then she said something that stayed with him. "You know, it's rare to meet someone who speaks with such honesty. Most people my age are so busy trying to impress." That night, Michael lay awake, her words echoing in his mind. He realized something important: what drew Claire to him wasn't his age or his status. It was his honesty, his willingness to share himself without pretense. Over time, their friendship blossomed. They met for coffee, strolled through farmers' markets, and exchanged books. Michael felt alive in a way he hadn't in decades. He never pretended to be younger than he was. Instead, he embraced his age. He spoke about loss, regret, and the lessons he had learned along the way. Claire, in turn, shared her dreams, her fears, and the struggles of being young in a world that often demanded perfection. Of course, not everyone understood. When his friends noticed him spending time with a woman half his age, they raised eyebrows. Some teased him, others warned him. Even Claire's friends questioned her, but both of them learned to ignore the noise. Because when they were together, the years that stretched between them didn't matter. One Sunday afternoon, as they sat on a park bench watching children play, Claire asked, "Do you ever worry what people think of us?" Michael looked at her and smiled. "I used to, but not anymore. People will always have opinions. What matters is how we see each other." She reached for his hand then, and for a moment, Michael felt as though time itself had stopped. Their relationship wasn't about gifts or grand gestures. It was about presence. The way Michael listened without judgment, the way Claire encouraged him to try new things, the way they laughed until tears ran down their faces. He taught her patience and resilience. She taught him curiosity and the courage to begin again. Michael came to understand something profound. Love after 60 wasn't about competing with youth. It was about offering something deeper: wisdom, kindness, and authenticity. Younger women weren't always seeking wealth. Many were seeking stability, safety, and someone who could truly see them. For Michael, the greatest victory wasn't conquering a younger woman's heart. It was realizing that love, when rooted in truth, doesn't measure years, it measures sincerity. As months passed, their bond only deepened. They painted together, traveled to small towns, and filled their days with simple joys. And though Michael knew the future was uncertain, because age would always bring its challenges, he no longer feared loneliness. He had found what he was searching for: a connection born not from appearances or possessions but from shared humanity. And so, at 63, Michael discovered the truth he wished he had known earlier: love has no age when it's built on honesty, respect, and heart.